name is Paul Bronson. I'm running for District 2 Commission for Macon-Bibb. I am a resident of Macon-Bibb County all my life. I moved over to the Shirley Hills area. So I'm a homeowner here in the Shirley Hills area. I've been here now since 2009 and love being a homeowner. Um, Growing up, I grew up in Bellevue. I moved from Bellevue over to Greenbrier, so back and forth between the two areas, and graduated from Central High School. So go Chargers. Aside from that, upon graduating, of course, I went and I worked for the Bibb County Fire Department at Station 11 on Riverside Drive. So I was in between Station 11 and Station 106 and loved every moment of it. I did the fire department for roughly about 6 or 7 years until I got ready to run for mayor, which was back in 2011. Was when I ran for mayor. Outside of that, joined the military at a young age, at age of 17. Joined the Georgia National Guard, the 40th Brigade here on Shirlington Drive. Joined them and loved it, and then went from there to Georgia Military College, where I earned my degree and my commission as an officer in the United States Army. Upon finishing that, I continued on, I got my bachelor's degree in psychology, and then went on for a master's degree in mental health counseling at Fort Valley State University, and then another master's at Wesleyan College. I just recently finished up my tour, my 1 year stint at the Pentagon, Washington, D.C. And then prior to that, I did a year at the White House. So I've been around a little bit, back and forth, doing organizations, working with different community events here, and just giving back to the community as much as possible. While I was at the Pentagon, there was a lot that was going on up that way. Of course, as you already know, we've been tracking COVID-19. And working up there as a public affairs officer, working with the White House closely and just tracking this whole deal, having the opportunity to look at the different businesses and contracts that we're going through throughout the different states. Looking back home, looking at the forefront in regards to what can be done at home. Like, what can we do? What resources can we bring from where we are and the things that we've seen and done and had an opportunity to invest in and so forth? How do we get those things back to our hometown? Mm-hmm. I think it's very important for anybody that's running for office. Like, what vision do you have? What outcome would you want to see for the city? I truly believe that my vision for the city overall will start great and perfectly fit with District 2, and it will start with District 2. So for me, running for office is not a thing of just to be doing it. It's more so for over 20 plus years, I've been working in the community, working with different organizations, and just kind of seeing what hasn't been done, what could have been done, and what should have been done. And I think that Macon deserves a leader that's well-rounded and they deserve that. People that are watching this video right now deserve that leadership. They deserve that ear from somebody that understands what they're going through on the day-to-day basis. They understands the need to tackle poverty. The need to, if we're going to put a project out there, to get the project done. So for me, from a leadership aspect, being a major in the United States Army, it's all about getting the mission done and getting it done effectively and efficiently. So I'm offering that, and I want to offer that to the citizens here in Bibb County. Okay. Biggest thing has been blight. Mm-hmm. It's been blight. That's one thing. And then just from a baseline, all right, from a baseline effort, it's being that representative that our kids can look up to and say, hey, this guy understands what we're trying to get done, while at the same time bridge that gap with our senior citizens for what their need, having a age-friendly living and so forth. So blight will be the main thing. One of the things that I do want to hit on for blight that I'm working on right now is what is called a 3x4 plan. Mm-hmm. And that 3x4 plan will basically be every 3 months, we will tackle 4 houses in the district. Now, as you already know, District 2 is broken down very uniquely. For us, we have East Macon, parts of East Macon, parts of South Macon, downtown, and then parts of North Macon. And being that District 2 is broken down within 4 different locations, which all have different areas and different concerns, it all affects one another. So it's going to take leadership that understands that sees that problem, and go forth and say, okay, how do we tackle these issues at hand? And as I stated before, blight would be one of those major things that I want to tackle using a 3x4 plan, where basically every 3 months we would go in and tackle four areas. And just imagine if we had every other commissioner jump on the same particular plan. We will be able to expedite the amount of houses that we either demolish, revitalize, and do what we need to do, whether or not it's knocking back the brush and making it look pretty, boarding it up and so forth. And then from a legal aspect too, reaching out to those personnel that own the house and saying, hey, listen, you have a home down here. We're going to continue to fine. We're going to, steepen the fine to get these things taken care of. It shouldn't take the length of time that it does. Now, granted, we all know that blight does take a little bit of time to get done, but I truly believe that we put our hand to the plow on this thing and really get it done. I think we can really make a move on everything else. I'm big on trust and transparency. I am big, of course, on our public safety, right? Making sure that our public safety officials are taken care of. Working with Board of Education to ensure that our students not only have the education, but the opportunity. And I think that's where that's where we stand in it. You have our educators, and I thank God for all the educators out there, because I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for the educators that took hold of me and put me in the headlock and said, hey, you need to get to class. So Dr. Stoggins, Dr. Weaver, if you're watching this, thank you. And Sergeant Brown and Major Abbott from Central High School. Thank you guys so much for what you do, for what you've done. But no, just ensuring that we're taking care of our citizens overall, right? And we put a plan in place that's effective and efficient. Restoring the trust in government is the key thing. So if we're doing that, I think there won't be any issue. Economic growth is another big issue here. How do we get foot traffic, right? How do we get foot traffic in? And some of the ideas that I have for that is being proactive instead of reactive. So if we know that we have businesses going out, we have vacant buildings, how do we go about getting companies to come in, like Apple and Samsung and these guys, to come in and say, let's set up shop here. So one thing that I would love to see, and don't forgive me for rambling, but one thing that I would love to see are Wi-Fi hubs. I would call them study halls. And those Wi-Fi hubs will be used for students that don't have the access to the network. We've seen a big hit right now where students, me working for Verizon, there are so many parents that are calling in to get hotspots for their kids to utilize. So we are actually trying to give away free hotspots so that way students have the access they need. But if we had Wi-Fi hubs that were stationed in East Macon, stationed throughout South Macon, then students will have the resources that they need, the capabilities to get assignments done. It will assist in parents that need to have the right, they have that access as well to fill out job applications and so forth. And that's just one part of the plans that I have ready for District 2.